and it is one of America's best-selling mid-sized SUVs. Though the exterior styling has not changed that much for 2021, I think it's important to still introduce this vehicle because it is an amazing performance SUV that many people do love. One thing that makes the Explorer ST different from most other Explorers is some of the outside styling, and that includes stuff like a black front grille. The Explorer ST also has the option to get these 21-inch 7-spoke wheels. Now this has the street package, which comes with these wheels, or you can get the high performance package that can also have these wheels. And of course you also get ST badges, and this one is the one on the front. That is the one on the rear liftgate. You also get some black exterior styling packages. This would usually be chrome on some of the other trim levels of the Explorer. And if we go over to the mirrors, these would also not be black on any other models. The ST is the only one with these black mirrors. And this is a painted black mirror. This isn't a black plastic black mirror. So the ST is the only one with the painted black mirrors, unless you get some of the black optics packages that you can get on some of the other models. The ST standard comes with this black mirror. I almost forgot, but the exterior of this car is painted in iconic silver metallic. You can also get stuff like magnetic gray and 4 racing blue and rapid red. I think this is a pretty good looking color. Moving on to the rear load capacity of the Ford Explorer, you do have, with the third row seats up, 18 cubic feet of cargo space. With the third row seats down, you have 48 cubic feet of cargo space. And with the second row seats down, you have 88 cubic feet of cargo space. As you see, the load floor here is flat. If you wanted more space, if the third row seats were up, you could pull this out and slot it down. Ford does make it stowable, and if you wanted to bring it back up, it's as easy as pulling it back up and slotting it back into place. And now you can fit smaller furniture or suitcases or whatever your heart desires. All right, moving on to the interior of the Ford Explorer. The first thing I want to start off with is the quality of the car. Above the leg area, you do have pretty nice quality. There is soft touch materials on the steering wheel, the center console, the door armrests, and then you have this piano black plastic that goes across right here, where it does start to feel a little less expensive is when you move down here and you run into the hard plastics. You're not really going to be touching down there, so above that area you do have a good amount of soft touch materials. And the steering wheel is pretty soft too and has a heated function as well. But everything up here, the things you are going to be touching the most, the climate controls, volume knobs, and everything like that, it's either in this black piano or it's in this nice aluminum feeling button right there. Come down here is where you have your drive modes and your shift selectors, and then you do have some plastic buttons down there as well. You do have a wireless charging pad for your phone that fits most phone sizes. As long as you don't have something super oversized, it will fit. All right, we can go ahead and fire up the car. Now, unlike the Mustang Mach-E, the upcoming Ford Bronco, and the F-150, you do not have Sync 4 in this car yet. You do have a good looking center screen with Sync 3 and it runs pretty smoothly, but it'll be nice to see when Ford finally puts Sync 4 in this car. You look straight at the center here and you have an all digital gauge cluster, of course, that shows your speeds and changes as you go through the drive modes. In normal mode, you can control the right side of the gauge cluster from intelligent all-wheel drive to tire pressure to your trip information, where you can see your gas mileage and everything like that. You can also choose what you want to listen to on the radio from the gauge cluster, change your navigation settings, your phone, and some of the car settings. You go through your drive modes. Here you do have normal, slippery, trail, and deep snow and sand on the right side. And as you move back, you do have eco, sport, and towing/hauling. This does tow 5,600 pounds, and I will go over some of the engine specs later in the video. If you really want to do heavy towing, something like an F-150 would be a little better, which you can watch the review. I will leave a pop-up for that you can go to that review and watch that if you're interested in the F-150. Everything does feel pretty good in this car. You also get adaptive cruise control with lane keeping assist, which is pretty nice. I've used that function on a lot of the higher end Ford models, and it does pretty well at keeping you in lane. It's very close to being able to self-drive itself on the highway, but not the city streets. You have dual zone climate control with a climate control stack in the back for your third zone, from everything from the back, second row back to the third. You have a 14-speaker system in here that is Bang & Olufsen. It sounds pretty good. Up here you do get a twin-panel moonroof, which is nice for your second-row seat passengers, and for you it makes the car feel a little more open. The amount of storage space you get in here is pretty good as well. The center console is not the deepest in the world, and you have a storage tray that you can stick up here if you want to hold coins in there or something. But it's a good amount of storage space. You have a 12-volt socket in here as well. And about plugs, if you come down here and look in here, you do have a USB Type-C and a USB Type-A with another 12-volt socket. Come in your glove box down here, and you have a good amount of space there. It's a pretty good front seat of this car. Moving on to the rear seats, the front seat is a little far back, that like I said it, but you do have a good amount of knee room up here, and you have a good amount of headroom as well. It's not the most you can get in the car industry, and I think the mechanism for the twin panel moonroof kind of takes some of that up, but it's a good amount of headroom. You have armrests back here for the captain's chairs. The bench seat is actually an extra cost. It's $495 if you want the bench going across, but if you're not trying to haul as many people as possible, the captain's chairs are perfectly fine. Down here is where you have your climate controls and your heated seats, and if you look in here, you have a USB Type-C and a USB Type-A socket, and over here, a 150-watt wall outlet. You do have some storage containers back here, and then you also have these privacy screens / sunshades if you want to keep the sun out of your eyes. All right, so how does the Ford Explorer ST drive around the town through the city streets and highway? Well, starting off, I mean, it has plenty of pep behind it. That 400 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque is very accessible. Now, this isn't the only engine option you can get in this car. You can get a 2.3 liter inline 4 that basically is straight out of the Mustang. That still feels pretty peppy. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head. I'll flash them up on the screen for that. But that car feels peppy, and I've driven an Explorer with the 2.3 liter before. But this 3 liter V6 is just, it's a different type of engine. I mean, the way it feels, the way it sounds, much better. I would definitely prefer an ST. And then the Platinum has a 3 liter V6 in it, except it is detuned to 368 horsepower, and then I'll flash those numbers up on the screen for that as well. So we're up to highway speeds now, which is about 70 miles an hour. Noise on the road is a little loud. I mean, that's maybe because the radio's off, but the noise on the road's a little loud. But when it comes to controllability and handling, the Explorer ST is pretty good. Now, when you go to put your foot on the gas, the kickdown for the gearbox it's not the fastest in the world. It's much faster on something like a Mustang. I think that's just the way they've tuned it for this transmission. It kicks down in a decent amount of time. Not the fastest in the world, though, for SUVs. Now, as for the adaptive cruise control, so I'm at 63 miles an hour, and I'm going to let it drift to the right side of the lane, and it should, yep. So it pushes me back in lane. It's basically lane centering. It's not only lane keep, it's lane centering. So it manages to make sure it steers you in lane properly. And the steering wheel is making tiny little adjustments. I'm not doing it. And then the adaptive cruise control is pretty well. I have it set to stay about 3 car lengths away. So the Mach-E has, just like Super Cruise and Cadillac, has eye sensors. I wish they would put that in other Ford models. That way you don't have to keep your hands on the steering wheel. You can just, as long as you're looking at the road, ready to make adjustments, then the adaptive cruise control and lane centering will allow you to take your hands off the steering wheel. But the amount of room you have in here and the power behind it makes it a perfect candidate for anyone looking for a car who can just go around town, run errands, run their kids all over town and everything like that. The Explorer ST is a good car for that. Now, you can also make the argument, well, why not just buy a regular Explorer XLT or a Platinum or a Limited or just a regular base model? You can, and they have some of the same features. Now, the ST and the Platinum are, I believe, the only ones that can come with a digital gauge cluster in the center, which to me is kind of a no-brainer to get. If you want that power, you definitely want the 3 liter V6. There's no doubt about it, which comes in the ST and the Platinum level. So if you want this kind of usability and versatility and technology, you're going to want the ST or the Platinum level. If you just want space and room and a good car to get around town with that's practical, then yes, then you could go for an XLT or a Limited. And the Limited still has adaptive cruise control, heated and cooled seats, all that stuff. It doesn't have the gauge cluster. You can't get the large center screen in the middle. That type of stuff you can't get. But if you don't care about that, then the lower trim levels will do perfectly fine. So I'm averaging 11.7 miles per gallon, and this car only has 37 miles on it. I just put fuel in it yesterday. The estimated gas mileage for the Ford Explorer ST is going to be 1824, the combined of 20. So this is my feeling on turbochargers. Turbochargers can make gas mileage better, but in a case like this, you're probably not going to get much better gas mileage out of it. There's a reason this is twin turbocharged, and that twin turbocharged setup is to make this car faster, to give it more power. Twin turbocharged setup in this versus getting the 2.3 liter and getting the single turbo, that's going to get much better gas mileage. But this car was never set up with the twin turbos to be gas conscious or economical. It was meant to be sporty. That's why you got the twin turbo 3 liter. Now, I guess I should go over some of the sporty aspects of this. As you change modes, the steering feel tightens and loosens. In sport mode, of course, it's going to be the tightest, and eco mode, they're going to be the loosest. Overall, the car feels really good to drive. So that is the 2021 Ford Explorer ST. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. It's a great family car, and it happens to be very sporty as well. It's got great pickup, 5.20 to 60. That's pretty good for an SUV. I mean, you're not going to be doing quarter-mile laps with it, even though I've seen people with tuned STs before do quarter miles, and they do pretty decently, but they are tuned. I don't know the exact numbers on that, so I won't quote anything. But it's a great car, and since the prices have dropped since 2020, it's just becoming a better deal. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked the video, hit the like button down below. If you want to see more from us, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.